This lesson is about writing equations of lines, but now we're going to change to one more form, which is called standard form. So the first thing that we want to do is figure out how do you rewrite it from point slope, which is kind of like our go-to all the time, and slope intercept, and change them into standard form. All right? And then once we figure that out, we've got three different tasks. Once again, given the slope and a point, given 2 points, and given a graph, can you write the equation of the line in standard form? All right. Standard form, as a reminder, is this form ax plus by equals c. All right. And there are some specifics that we talked about. For instance, a has to be greater than or equal to 0. A cannot be negative. All right. A, b, and c can have no fractions, no decimals. So again, remember, a has to be greater than or equal to 0 for it to be in standard form. And all of these, A, B, and C, we can have no fractions and no decimals. Now, wow, I can't spell decimals. Let's try better. Decimals, there we go. Okay. The biggest thing is you got to make sure that you put the AX and the BY and the C all in the correct position. That's what sets it up for this thing that is called standard form. All right, so we're going to start off rewriting equations from point slope to slope intercept to standard. Okay, so last lesson, we worked on how do you write an equation in slope intercept from point slope. All right, so if you remember, that means 2 steps. So the step 1, I'm going to do y minus 9 distribute. I have negative 6x minus 54. Step 2, I'm going to get y by itself, add 9 to both sides, and I get y is equal to negative 6x minus 45. Okay. So from here, all that I have to do is make sure that x and y are on the same side, because remember, we're trying to go to standard form. I need to get x and y over on the same side, and then I'll check the specifics. So what do I do with this minus 6x to get it over to the correct side? I have to add 6x. All right, so my equation now says 6x plus 1y equals negative 45. I have ax plus by equals c. I don't see any fractions. I don't see any decimals. And a is positive. So now I know this is standard form. I have to go through that checklist at the end of each problem to guarantee that it is in standard form. So let's take a look at this second one now. All right, it's given to me in point slope. First thing I need to do is change it to slope intercept. Y plus 7 equals 9/10 x plus 9/10 times 3, that would be 27/10. Okay, I got to move the 7 over. So remember our little trick here, though. I'm not going to subtract 7 or 7 over 1. I'm going to change this into tenths just to make my work a little bit easier. I have y equals 9/10 x. And then this would be negative 43/10. All right, I want to focus on getting x and y over on the same side. So I know that this 9/10, I have to move that. Minus 9/10 x. And do that to both sides. All right, so let's see where we're at now. We've got negative 9/10 x plus 1y is equal to negative 43/10. All right, x and y are on the same side, so now I'm really close to standard form. But few things that I noticed. First of all, the a value, negative 9/10, is negative. Can't be negative. So right now I know that I'm going to have to multiply this by something. I also have fractions. I notice that I have a common denominator of 10. So I have to get rid of those fractions by using this LCD technique. I'm going to multiply everything by negative 10 in this case, because that'll force the a value to also become positive. All right, so let's see what happens. I have negative 10 divided by 10, which would be negative 1 times negative 9, or positive 9x. Okay, got the a value positive, and I don't have any fraction there. How about negative 10 times 1y? Well, that's going to give me negative 10y. And then I have negative 10 times negative 43 tenths. Well, double negatives are positive. 10 divided by 10 is 1, so this would just be 43. Standard form, we're good to go. All right, so what if they give me information and they want me to write the equation in standard form? So I'm going to write the equation. All right, first thing I look and see, what do they give me? They give me information that would entail point slope. Okay, so I'm going to jump right in. Y plus 8 equals 5/6 times x plus 2. All right, I'm going to change this over to slope-intercept. Y plus 8 equals 5/6 x plus 10/6. Now, I can simplify 10/6. I'm not going to yet. Just trying to save myself a little bit of work here and there. To get y by itself, I have to subtract 8. But 8 is really 48/6. Yep. All right, so I have y equals 5/6 x minus 38/6. Now, I again could simplify that 38/6, but I'm not worried about simplifying till the very end. Okay, I need to get it into standard form now, which means x has to move over. It'll become negative 5/6 x plus 1y equals negative 38/6. All right, can't have any fractions, can't have a negative first term, so I'm going to multiply everything here by negative 6. Double negatives are positive. 6 divided by 6 is 1 times 5. That leaves me with 5x. Negative 6 times positive 1y would be minus 6y. Negative times negatives are positive. 6 divided by 6 is 1 times 38 would be positive 38. This equation is now in standard form. Okay, let's try this next one. Go to point slope. Y minus 3 equals negative 1/2 times x minus 4. Distribute. Y minus 3 equals negative 1/2 x plus, now I know that half of 4 is just 2, so I'm going to write 2. Add the 3. I am y equals negative 1/2 x plus 5, and again this is slope-intercept. Move the x over, so I'm going to have a positive 1/2 x plus 1y is equal to 5. It's plus 1y. All right, a is positive here, so we're good, but we still have a fraction. I'm going to have to multiply everything to get rid of that fraction. Multiply everything by 2. All right, so that leaves me with 1x plus distributing 2y equals 10. This is the equation in standard form. All right, scenario number 3. What if we are given 2 points and they want us to write it in standard form? Well, again, there's step-by-step information.
Meets at the Media Center right
Sorry
now.
for this.
Also
Trying to
today,
do this
10
over
to 5.
announcements.
Thank you.
But we're going to change from 2 points in the standard form. All right. So first thing, figure out the slope. The slope would be the change in y. So that would be 12 minus negative 8 over the change in x, negative 1 minus 4. This would be 20 over negative 5, or a slope of negative 4. Pick a point. I'm going to pick the first one. Doesn't matter again. You can pick either one. All right. Plug it into point slope. Y minus 12 equals negative 4 times x minus negative 1. So I'm going to go ahead and write x plus 1. Distribute y minus 12 equals negative 4x minus 4. Move the 12 by adding it. I have slope-intercept form as y equals negative 4x plus 8. Move the x by adding it, so this becomes 4x plus 1y equals 8. Do your double check. A is positive, no fractions, no decimals. I'm good. That's standard form. All right, second example here, slope. The slope would be negative 8 minus 0 over 5 minus negative 7, which would be negative 8. Change in y is negative 8. Change in x would be 12. Now I'm going to simplify this. I know that 4 goes into both the top and the bottom, so this is really negative 2/3. Pick a point. Now again, it doesn't matter. Whatever point we pick, we should end up with the same slope-intercept form and the same standard form. I'm just going to always pick the first point. Why? I don't know. It's just a habit. All right, so I have y plus 8 equals negative 2/3 times x minus 5. Okay? Distribute y plus 8 equals negative 2/3 x plus 10/3. Negative 2/3 times negative 5 is positive 10/3. Subtract the 8. All right, which means I'm really subtracting 24/3. 24/3 is the same as 8. Y equals negative 2/3 x minus 14/3. Okay, get the x over on the left side, so that makes it positive 2/3 x plus 1y equals negative 14/3. Need to clean this up, so let's see. I don't have to worry about a sign change because a is positive, but I do have all these fractions, so I got to multiply by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1 times 2 is 2x. 3 times 1y would be positive 3y. 3 divided by 3 is 1 times negative 14. That would be negative 14. 2x plus 3y equals negative 14 would be the equation in standard form. Our final scenario is, what if I give you a graph? Can you write the equation in standard form? The beauty of it again is we're just adding that one step at the end on how we change from slope-intercept to standard. All right, so let's take a look at this first one. I need to identify 2 points. There's one, there's one. I'm going to calculate my slope. Slope would be, let's see, I'm going to go up 2 and 2 to the right, 2 over 2, which would be a slope of 1. I'm going to identify this first point right here. It's at negative 4, negative 1. I'm now going to write my equation of the line in point slope form. Y plus 1 equals 1, that's the slope, times x minus negative 4, which would be x plus 4. Y plus 1 equals 1x plus 4. Subtract the 1. Y equals 1x plus 3. Move the x over. Now it becomes negative 1x plus 1y equals 3. My a value cannot be negative, so I got to multiply everything by negative 1. That leaves me with 1x minus 1y equals negative 3. It's okay that the b and the c value are negative. It's just for standard form, a must be positive. All right, so let's try one more of these. I'm going to identify, let's see here, this point and this point. So the slope here would be down 1, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right. I'm going to name that point. That point's at negative 5, negative 4. I'm going to plug in 2 point slope. So I've got y plus 4, that's minus negative 4, is equal to negative 1/5 times x minus negative 5, which would be x plus 5. Distribute y plus 4 equals negative 1/5 x. Let's see, I've got negative times positive, so I know it's going to be negative. 1/5 of 5, that would be 5 over 5, or 1. Okay? Subtract the 4 to get it to slope intercept. And I'm at y equals negative 1/5 x minus 5. Now I got to get it to standard. Move the negative 1/5 over. It becomes positive 1/5 x plus 1y equals negative 5. A has to be positive. It is. No fractions. So I know I got to multiply everything by the common denominator of 5. That leaves me with 1x plus 5y equals negative 25. This is the equation of the line in standard form. Please now turn your attention to worksheet 2.1.3 and have that completed for the next class. Have a nice day.